I'm trying to film this video on a tripod that I can't really seem to get to stand up very well while the baby is napping and my toddler is being entertained by my husband. So I'm going to try to make it quick. Sorry if my head is cut off or something. But I wanted to add a video for a little bit of more content for people who are pregnant with twins or think that they might be pregnant with twins. I am currently 30 weeks pregnant with twins, and I didn't know for sure that I was pregnant with twins until I was 20 weeks pregnant. But I knew that I was pregnant with twins right away. And I'm going to tell you how. So the first thing I guess I would like to say is that my husband and I have been so blessed that whenever we talk about, let's try to have kids, we have sex and bam, I'm pregnant. It happens. We have sex once and we have been very blessed in that sense. And so we're incredibly lucky. With that being said, the last time that we talked about having kids, we were like, gosh, should we not? And we decided we already have two. Let's try for another. We have two girls. We want a boy. So if any of you guys have seen the movie Honky Tonk Man, you might understand that there's a scene in the movie where the guy, the main character, he goes on this drunken bender and he wakes up in this bed with this young girl who has been obsessed with him, and she has like the biggest smile on her face, and she said, "I have conceived." And so right after my husband and I had sex, I said that because I figured we've been so blessed and lucky in the past that I knew I was just going to be pregnant. And so it was kind of a joke. But 2 or 3 days later, somewhere around there, I was sitting at my beading table and I felt the only thing that I can describe as a squiggle. It felt like I was feeling the sperm enter the egg. And I know that sounds so crazy. With my first daughter, I really believed that I felt the moment that I was pregnant when the egg was fertilized, but it was a little bit different. I had ended up hitting a spruce grouse while driving in the car. And I knew like immediately that it killed it. And I turned around to go find it to make sure, I guess. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And I believe that that was that spirit going into my body. Anyways, I thought, oh, I know I'm pregnant at that moment. And it ended up being true. And so, do I know these things? Do I just believe them? Either way, I like to believe in the magic and the spiritual side of things. And so, the squiggle with these, I am either going to find out if it was just like me feeling that sperm fertilizing the egg, or if it was the egg splitting in two. I don't know if my twins are identical or not. Chances are that they're fraternal, because they are di twins. There's tons of great content out there if you're learning about the different types of twins. So the chances of them being identical are pretty low, but I'm still kind of hoping, because I think that's like been a lifelong dream of mine. So anyways, that was the first sign that I felt like, okay, I know I'm pregnant. And for some reason, I just thought, I know it's twins. Maybe because I really have wanted twins so bad that in the past I've always wondered if I was having twins or not. But this time it felt more serious, of a knowing. And so then to get into this more practical stuff rather than the mystical or spiritual side of it, I started, one of the first ways that I understand with my body that I'm pregnant is coffee. So I have been drinking coffee for a long time. On my 3rd birthday, I got a coffee cup. Thanks, Mom and Dad. And so I'm a lifelong coffee drinker. My husband is so sweet and got me this itty bitty tiny coffee cup for Christmas. And I usually have to drink like at least 4 of those. And I started having 1 cup and feeling like kind of nauseous, kind of over it. And that was my first like inkling, that like, okay, this is real. I'm not just making it up and being a crazy person. You know, it's making my heart race really fast. And so I knew, okay, so where was I? Yes, the coffee. It's making me very sick. Another way that I knew was I took a pregnancy test at, I think I was 3 weeks and 5 days pregnant. So, and the line was clear as day. It knew. And I was like, whew, I've got those hormones going. And I knew that that was super early to be able to detect it. I started getting nauseous. And I had morning sickness before, and I would say it was pretty mild. This was so intense. This is how I knew it was twins. I couldn't eat anything. Suddenly, everything was making me feel like I wanted to just puke all over the place, although I never puked. I've never thrown up with morning sickness, so I wasn't too surprised, but the feeling was so intense that I couldn't eat anything. I started losing weight, which is fairly common. It's not a horrible thing. Tons of women go through that, and they have single pregnancies. But that's definitely different for me. And although I was losing weight, my belly was like rapidly growing. And so it was so strange. By the time I was 8 weeks, I was already wearing maternity clothes. I wasn't exclusive in maternity clothes, but my belly was like ever expanding, and people were telling me, oh, it's just bloating, and I can definitely say some of it was bloating, but I also felt like there was more to it. I remember one of my neighbors telling me like, well, this isn't your first pregnancy and your body just gets bigger. You're not having twins, and everybody always thinks that, but I actually am. So if you are thinking it, don't let people kind of tell you that you're not. I don't know. Listen to whatever advice you want. But you know your body best. I knew that my belly was like super bloaty, but also like getting bigger. The tiredness that I felt was also very extreme. I did wonder if I was so tired because I had 2 kids already, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so I knew that I was like burning the candle at both ends. But I felt so tired. And my husband and I, we have a small farm, and every year throughout both of my other pregnancies, and I had one where I miscarried, but even through that, I had enough energy and stamina to work on the farm and still do stuff. But this time I remember my husband asking me if I could, help him do something. And he was getting really frustrated because I was just kind of lethargic all the time. I was so tired, and he's not a pushy person or expecting too much of me just based off of our past and the way that I've been able to work. He was like, all of this stuff isn't getting done. And I remember just breaking down and crying and being like, can't you just treat me like I'm a normal pregnant lady? Like, don't expect me to do so much work because I'm growing a human here. And I was so tired and so emotional, and probably scared him a little bit. Poor thing. He did not ask me to do anything else after that. But all of the symptoms that I knew that I had were so greatly intensified. And I know that there's so much content out there that says exactly the same thing as that. And so I'm not putting anything new out there in the sense of information, but maybe just a new video for people to watch and binge on, because I spent and still spend many hours out of the week looking at videos and pictures of other pregnant women with twins, of other people's babies. It's kind of creepy that I'm like always Googling pictures of twins. But I just became so obsessed with everything twin. And so I wanted to give people a little bit more content, just to view. That is, I think, all of the things that I really felt before my first appointment, thinking that I had twins. So then going into my second appointment, the sun's going down on me. I do see a midwife, and so I'm kind of out of the mainstream hospital circuit, and she had said, well, it's interesting, you think you're having twins, okay, she listened to all the things I was saying and said, yeah, it's not, unrealistic, it's a possibility, but we just continued on as normal. And when I got around 16 weeks, no, it had to have been before that. Yeah, because let's see, I went in, I think at 12 weeks, and she was like, yeah, it's not super uncommon for women to feel like they might be having multiples, but you could be. And so she tried measuring, and it's a little early to measure. She even said it's not it's too early to really tell with measuring, but I was measuring further along than what I guess would have been considered normal if people normally measure at that time. So it was kind of a crapshoot. It's like, well, people don't really measure this time, but I also am a little bit bigger. And she said, do you want to get an extra ultrasound? to see and make sure, because I usually just get one at 20 weeks and then that's it. And I said, I really want to just wait and drive myself crazy and wonder all the way up to 20 weeks. And I'm sure it was no surprise to her and my husband, because with our second child, I didn't tell anybody that I was pregnant with her. My family doesn't live where we do, and so I called them on the day that I gave birth, said, hey, what are you guys doing? And they told me, oh, cleaned out the garage, did this, what are you doing? And I said, well, I just had a baby. And it was a huge surprise. So I really like the surprise. I really like the mystery. I think it's so fun. And so I wanted to wait because I knew that, one, I would find out soon enough, and two, not many people get the opportunity to just like obsess and go crazy and wonder if they have twins or not and play this like game. And so every appointment that I would go to, her and I, my midwife and I, we would, oh, is it twins? Is it not? And I think my husband probably knew, because I really did feel sure that I knew, but there was always like that slim possibility that I was wrong. And that is just something that I wanted so bad. And so I remember at one of the appointments, this was when I was about 16 weeks, she could feel one of the babies, but she could only feel one. And she said, well, it is kind of weird because it's a little early to feel one. And so there could either be like a baby behind it, kind of pushing it up to the surface, or I don't know, we could just feel it. So still, again, it was one of those like, could be, could not. And she said that she would use a Doppler so we could listen to the heart. And she also said before, many times, that this is not an accurate way to tell if you have twins, because Dopplers are so good. They can hear the heart. They can pick it up from so many different places. And so we knew that the baby's head was like right up at the top with its feet down, and it was kind of curved in like a little C shape. And so she put the Doppler on the right side, and we could hear a heartbeat, and we were like, oh, wow, okay, that's so cool, first time you get to hear it. And then she put it on the left side, and then we could hear a heartbeat, and we were like, oh my gosh, okay, so either it's just picking up the heartbeat wherever, it could be picking up the heartbeat from the baby's back and from the baby's chest, or it could be two different heartbeats. So those last 4 weeks of really wondering if there were twins or not was so intense, because the signs were just like still progressing that yes, it could be, but don't really know. Yes, it could be. And when I finally went in for my 20-week ultrasound, I had gained back like all the weight that I lost plus some, like 14 pounds or something. And I remember walking in to the place, and the guy who was doing the ultrasound, he said, do you want to know the sex of your baby? And I said, no. I just want to know if there's twins. And his face kind of dropped, and he said, you don't know? No, I don't know. And he asked what made me think, and I just started going on and on about all these signs, and he stopped me. He's like, whoa, okay. Well, let's just take it one step at a time. Said, I hope for you that there are not twins, because I am a small person, And he was saying that I would be very, very uncomfortable later in pregnancy, and I hadn't had any like care for twins previously up until now. And so there's a lot of different complications that can happen with twins, especially if you don't catch it early. And so he was a little bit concerned, but when he put the little thing on my belly, he said, well, you've got twins. My husband and I were just so happy, and he was so happy. We were all just like overjoyed. I don't cry. I didn't cry. My husband, he was tearing up, and he was just saying, oh my God, are you serious? Oh my God, are you serious? And so, yeah, we were really, really excited. And, well, that was only 10 weeks ago. And so I'll make another video soon about the symptoms and stuff that I have experienced in my second trimester, and now that I'm in the third trimester, the things that I'm going through now, which is, again, it's so different. Every pregnancy is different. Every body is different. And this is just, you know, another same but different kind of video for people that are on that train, and or people that want to be on that train. And so, yeah, I am really looking forward to making more. I am looking forward to getting a better setup here. If anybody has any suggestions, that would be awesome. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I will do my best to just chat to other moms or other moms who, future moms, people who want to be twin moms. And there's a lot of great content out there on how you can try to conceive twins. So hopefully it all works out for you guys. And I'm really so happy to be on this journey.